Hi there, I'm Holly Truitt. I'm so delighted to be here with you on this 16-week journey. We're so grateful that you selected this class and are inviting us to join you in this moment of transformation. This class is all about designing your pivot for yourself, for your business, for your world. It's about inviting metamorphosis and really thinking deeply about what do you want in this moment in time. We're going to talk a lot more about the class very soon, but before we do that, I really want to invite you to a dear friend and colleague, Elisa Fennenbach. Elisa?
Thanks, Holly. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us join you and playing with us. Really excited to be here with you and with Holly on this journey. We practice what we preach. So, everything that we are teaching you is how we move through the world and is how we continue to pivot and design and change in our lives every day. So while we'll be leading you, we'll also be going through our own transformations too, because we're always changing and learning and prototyping and getting creative and having fun. And I'll let Holly take it from there.
Elisa, I love your reference to play. So often, when we get to a space where we don't know what the next step is or the world feels crazy, it can be hard to keep a playful and open mindset and stay in that space of imagination. We're in such a moment of transition and change. When Elisa and I thought about creating this class, we had just read an article, I think it was in Forbes. Is that right, Elisa? Was it Forbes?
I think so, Holly.
So it was in Forbes, and it was saying that 62% of women with COVID are imagining and thinking about a pivot. And for us, that just resonated so much. We both, as I mentioned earlier, have done our own pivots. And for me, it was pretty catalytic moment of for health reasons, realizing I needed to move in a different way, and I had things that I was valuing that in my current iteration of life wasn't possible. And you're going to get to hear a lot about that journey in the future. However, it has been amazing, and I just keep designing and shifting along the way. Elisa, do you want to share a little bit about where you are in your pivot and life?
Thanks, Holly. I'm actually just coming up for air in a way. I had a huge shift right before the pandemic, kind of coincidental. Um, and I made a big leap then after sort of years of prototyping my way there. And and then the world shut down. So everything that I expected I would be doing and everything I built toward that all of a sudden wasn't relevant. So that was a moment I was deep in pause with everyone else. And then I also got pregnant, which has been wonderful and strange in the middle of these times. And I'm now, I don't want to say on the other side of that because frankly I'm still not sleeping through the night. But but I'm grounded a little bit back in myself and in what's coming next. And as the world has shifted, and I've shifted, I've gone through a metamorphosis. My dreams are different, my priorities are different, my time is different, and I'm moving in uncharted territories. But I'm excited because I know at least I have a hunch of where I'm headed.
So, when we were developing this class, we had to step back and ask the question, are we even the right people to be teaching this class, to be teaching about pivoting, about designing for change in your life and business and world? And as we stepped back, what we realized is, oh, yeah, we've got this. I have spent most of my career researching and designing for change in the community and social space, and most recently have begun to work with leaders and helping them design for change and impact in their lives. And to date, I have been so fortunate. This work has been funded by everyone from the National Science Foundation to the National Institutes of Health. And we've had a portfolio of almost $14 million in that space of designing for change. And then I guess the other thing that came up for me is just my brand new business, which you're going to get to hear about. We have been so blessed and been able to dive in and work with teams from around the world and from all different sectors, from Fortune 500 to universities to mid-sized cities, to individuals that are just wanting something different and wanting a process that helps them get to the right answers. So at the end of that conversation, I felt like, yes, I think we're the right people. And with that, I'm going to ask Elisa to share why she said yes.
Well, I actually might shift the question, Holly. I think we came together knowing we wanted to teach. And we asked ourselves, what is it we're excited to teach about? What is it that we feel deeply in our souls and hearts that can be transformative and helpful for the people around us, knowing what we know and going through the hurdles we've gone through? How can we share and make it easier and more playful for others to do the kind of work we've been doing? So I have a background in a master's in product design and come from a world where design thinking was born, and have worked in design consultancies, consulting and building for Fortune 500 companies, and teaching globally, and teaching innovation and play science for, over a decade, and sort of using all of these creative, human-centered design thinking mindsets on products, on services, on businesses, but also on myself. So really thinking about how do I take the processes I know that I usually use on things around me, and how do I turn them onto my own life? And that's really, for me, where my journey began, of how do I start shifting and prototyping my life in a safe and playful way so that I can make the change that I want to. So Holly, this class is about pivots, but what do we mean by pivot? For me, I think pivot can mean a lot of things. It could mean a small change, a small prototype, or it could be big. It could be a completely 180 different direction from where I've ever headed before. But whatever the scale, it is about shift and it is about change. And I would say it's about mindful, intentional shift and change.
Elisa, that really resonates with me. And I so appreciate just your focus on mindfulness and intentionality. I think that is the ticket. There's a pivot, and then sometimes we find ourselves flailing where we're moving and wanting change, but perhaps we haven't had that balcony time to think deeply about it, or perhaps we haven't just recognize that this is uncharted territory, and what we think is the pivot may need to shift differently and accordingly. So yeah, that really, it resonates for me. It makes me think about just two questions as people go to Mighty Networks. There, drop in two prompts for you. One of them is, why did you say yes to this class? There must be something in your space right now where you're inviting change, you're inviting intentionality, you're inviting new movements and new ways of doing things. So tell us why you chose this class, and then maybe share with us, just as a quick prompt, how might you like to pivot? So that begs the question, where are we headed in this 16-week journey? We will be gathering on each of these short video vignettes to ground you in the work that you're going to be doing. And we think of that work, a lot of it is asynchronous. So you'll be doing it on your own. These launch videos will help you ground. We'll talk a little bit about the work that you're going to be doing. And most importantly, we're just going to keep reconnecting to our own lessons and our own work, so that it is really playful and grounded in our lives and in the here and now. So we hope this sounds great, and we cannot wait to gather with you for our next session. Thank you.